Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable. WazirX and CNBC TV18 present Crypto, Digital Assets of the Future.
Hello and welcome to this special series. WazirX and CNBC TV18 present Crypto, Digital Assets of the Future. This week on the show, we will focus on how to tackle the cryptocurrency volatility. Well, the global crypto volatility continues to rage on. There are innumerable stories on how people woke up to be millionaires when the prices hit all-time highs, and then some where the capital was wiped to half when the prices fell. Currently, the cryptocurrencies are in a correction mode since Tesla did a U-turn on transactions with Bitcoin. The market capital now stands at approximately $1.45 trillion. This is versus $2.6 trillion of an all-time highs that we saw in the previous month itself. And the report suggests that the Bitcoin demand from the new users has slowed to lowest level in an year. The investors are also becoming aware of the environment debate on crypto mining. The China crackdown has soured sentiment as China contributes nearly 65% of the global mining for cryptos. Amidst all of this, as an investor, what should your stance be? How should you differentiate between various cryptocurrencies? To discuss this and more, I am now joined by Kashif Raza, who's co-founder of Crypto Qanun, and he's also a crypto influencer. Kashif, hi, good to have you. I want to start with Bitcoin first because that really seems to be the king of all cryptocurrencies, and we have seen the volatility into this one also being the highest, from an all-time high of $64,000 to below 30 in this week, and it seems to be holding around somewhere at 30. What is the strategy that you would want an investor to hold on to with this kind of volatility?
So Manisha, first of all, we need to understand that this is not the first time that Bitcoin is seeing the volatility. So over the many years since its inception, Bitcoin has seen volatility over the period of time. And so what is happening is that we need to understand, Manisha, that this asset class, this technology is still 10 to 11 years old. So we are in a very early stage, if you understand. So what is happening, that if I give you an example, that in the year 2016, in December 2016, the market capitalization of Bitcoin was close to 14 billion, right? So as we compare today, as on date, it is close to 650 billion. In 2016 December, it was 14 billion. So now just imagine if the total market cap of Bitcoin was 14 billion, and if somebody would have come up and put in, say, 1 billion into it, right? Or 50 million US dollar into it, or 1 billion US dollar into it, there would have been a spike in the price. Or if somebody would have sold 1 billion US dollar, there would have been a drop in price. So the volatility in 2016, 2017 in the previous years was very high. But as the market is maturing, as more and more users are coming, as more and more capital is coming into it, more and more institutions are coming. So what is happening, that the price of Bitcoin is also growing and the market capitalization of Bitcoin is also growing. So over the years, volatility is also dropping, and it will continue to drop as more and more people will join it. Now, if you see, today it is 624 billion is the market, 624 billion US dollar is the market cap. If somebody puts in 1 billion or 1.5 billion, nothing is going to happen to the price. But in 2016, it would have. So what is happening with every passing year, with the number of users growing, by the way, in Bitcoin? So in years to come, you will see that the volatility will fade out. But I also tell you, Manisha, volatility is the USP of crypto. People do get attracted to crypto because of volatility also. So volatility also plays a role in terms of advertisement. It's an advertisement to the world that here most of the new users, they get attracted to it because of those price news which the whole entire media covers. So volatility is in itself is good for Bitcoin in terms of advertisement. But with coming years, you'll see that the volatility will fade out. So this is about volatility. Now, if you see what we need to do, so my advice to anybody who's investing in, who's planning to invest in Bitcoin, need to first of all define that, is he going to do active trading, day-to-day trading, like he will buy it in the morning and sell it in the evening, or he is coming into this industry for a long-term perspective, for an investing perspective. So if somebody is planning to enter into Bitcoin space today and he doesn't know much about Bitcoin, should come into it by a way of dollar cost averaging. So in a different sense, you can call it
Sure.
SIP.
I get that is the second question I was going to ask you, Kashif, but let me make it simpler for the viewers to get in also. I do get your point when you say that the Bitcoin has been making higher highs and perhaps higher lows as well. Well, yes, it is stabilizing around those 30s right now. And you talked about investing. Yes, there are day traders, there are investors who perhaps have been holding their positions for many years now. What is your sense on how does one start doing that? Because a lot of people who are getting into the cryptocurrency want to earn that quick buck. I think that is the reason, as you said, people do not perhaps understand it completely. They do not understand the platform as well. But the reason they get in is to get that quick money out. How should people really be differentiating between that? Is it an investment? Is it a trading? Is it a quick way of getting returns?
So Manisha, if you want to enter into Bitcoin space, so there are three ways of entering it. One is to buy it. Simply, you have fiat money, you have cash in your pocket, and you can go to any exchange and buy it. Second way is that you don't want to put in money. Second way is to earn it. So suppose I am a blogger and I can write for, say, suppose any news platform. So I'll write articles for them, and I will take money. I will take my compensation in the form of Bitcoin. Or if I want to sell my car today, I can sell it for a Bitcoin, right? So in a sense, you can also earn it without investing. And third, you can mine it. So mining for an individual today is not possible. It is like more of an industrial concept today. So the two ways through which you can acquire Bitcoin is either to buy it or to earn it. Now let's come on to buying it. So suppose you have 100 rupees, right? And you want to invest in it. So I will strongly recommend you that you should not put in your 100 rupees in one go, in a lump sum way. You try and define your goal the way you define your goal in stock market. Like you try and define your goal that, okay, fine, in 5 years or 10 years, I want to retire, or I want to get married, or for some education, I want some money. So try and define a long-term goal and then start investing it in a SIP way, systematic investment plan. Every week, every month, on every drop, try and invest smaller amount in different phases or on a fixed interval, and you will and start small. You don't have to sell your house or a jewelry or take a loan to enter into it. Try and expose to close to what 5 to 10% on a higher side of your portfolio. You can take an exposure of crypto or Bitcoin and start investing in it through an SIP model, which is like a safer way of going ahead. So what happens when you are not aware of the price, when you are not aware of the technology, if you put in a lump sum money in one go, and suppose if at that point of time that the price is at the top, so the moment if there is a correction of 30-40%, because correction can be quite huge in crypto, because as I told you, volatility is still very high. The number of users are still very less in comparison to the other asset classes or other stocks. If you suppose compare it with stocks today, so the number of users are still very low. The market cap is nowhere in comparison to market cap of stocks or gold. So you need to be very careful that once you decide to enter into this space, do not enter with a lump sum amount. Try and take small steps and have a long-term perspective.
Sure. Kashif, let me break the question down further now. For a trader, somebody who's wanting to look at immediate money, with the kind of volatility that we see in cryptocurrencies, you sleep and in the morning it's at some other place. It trades 24 hours, it trades 365 days, and it is most active on a weekend when people actually are taking an off. So, you look at a level on Friday and on a Monday morning, it's totally changed. So for a trader, what are the things to watch out for? We get your point that your investment should be minimal when you start if you are a beginner, but how should you counter this volatility?
So suppose for an investor, if I am an investor and I have a long-term perspective, for me volatility won't matter that much. In fact, I'll be happy if the price comes down, so I will be able to put in more money. Rather, I should be happy as an investor. It is an opportunity to buy at the dip. The first thumb rule is for a trader to educate. Now I give you to educate himself, to understand the technical analysis and to understand the dynamics of how this industry works. Now, I give you a very small example. So, what is happening in crypto space right now, Manisha? From there, you will draw that why people are actually losing money into this space is that most of the users in this space, like 57% users, are only invested in crypto. They are not invested in stocks. So whatever they're learning from crypto only.
Okay.
And most of them are youngsters. So 70% of the user base is less than 34 years of age. And another poll says that all these users, out of many users, 40% they want to retire at the age of 40. So so there is this perception that people make quick bucks in this industry. So yes, people do make, and there are traders who are very qualified and they do earn a lot of money into this space. But then there are very few, and they have put in a lot of research in doing that. So we need to understand that. So I will say, as a trader, if you are entering into it, you need to see that what is sell it at high, and then when the price comes down, buy it at low. That's the best strategy for doing it. But for that, you need to understand the technical analysis. It is not that, and it is very similar to stock also. So if somebody is trying to invest directly in Reliance share and want to do direct trading into it, and there are people who follow a mutual fund way of doing it. So in crypto, you don't have crypto funds as on date in India, but in US, people and other countries, there are ETFs, there are crypto funds through which people have started already investing. But in India, obviously, it will take a lot of time. So if you're taking a direct exposure and doing a day trading is not bad. I'm not saying that. But if you do not have knowledge, you are putting in yourself into a lot of risk.
Oh, well, yes, we totally get that. If you bought into cryptocurrencies last month, you perhaps haven't made much money. But if you bought it last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, then you clearly are a millionaire by now. Well, yes. With that, we'll go for a very short break. But Kashif, when we come back, we'll talk to you about the altcoins. What are the various other cryptocurrencies and how should you differentiate between all of that is what we'll understand after this break.
WazirX and CNBC TV18 present Crypto, Digital Assets of the Future. WazirX and CNBC TV18 present Crypto, Digital Assets of the Future.
Welcome back, and we are in conversation with Kashif Raza. Kashif, you spoke to us and you told us, you convinced us that while trading is good, investing is even better. But I want to talk about other altcoins. Bitcoin clearly is the leader, and nearly half the market cap in cryptocurrencies is in Bitcoin. But there are various other alternate coins which really seem to be exciting people. There are meme coins, there are newer coins being churned every single day. There are 6,000 coins out there. How does one differentiate? For a beginner, what should you start investing in first?
I think, Manisha, it's a very good question you've asked, and I think this question need a right answer as well. So what is happening so try and understand. I'll tell you in this way that Bitcoin is solving one problem. What is that problem? Never in the history you were able to transfer value from one person to another without trusting a third party. So suppose my brother is living in US. And I want to send him, suppose $1 million or 10,000 US dollar. I need a bank. I need a third party on whom I can trust, and he will try and facilitate my $10,000 and try and give it to my brother there. But with Bitcoin, now it is possible that I can transfer value from one place to another place, peer to peer, without trusting any third party. So this has happened for the first time in the humanity. Like you couldn't even move gold without, because moving gold from one country to another country was very difficult. So this is the beauty of Bitcoin. So definitely, as you said, that Bitcoin is the king. But obviously, as Bitcoin got popular and Bitcoin grew, there were many altcoins and there were many blockchains which originated after Bitcoin. So what happened? That after Bitcoin, so the first altcoin which became very popular, and it is obviously very popular even today, is Ethereum. So Ethereum came up with a concept of smart contracts. It's a programmable blockchain, world's first programmable blockchain. Now, on Ethereum, you can build so many applications, so many games. You are the entire DeFi, the entire financial sector, banking sector, gaming sector, NFT. Everything you can build on Ethereum blockchain. So now I will answer your question. So what is happening that, take an example of stocks, by the way. Now, if suppose Manisha wants to invest in stocks, so what she will do, she'll try and pick industries. She'll say, okay, I'll take banking, I'll take FMCG, I'll take consumer durable, I will take IT sector, and you will try to pick gems. So like in IT, you will take Infosys, in FMCG, you will pick Unilever, in banking, you might pick HDFC. So every industry, you will try and pick your favorite stocks. So similarly, in the crypto space, you have very different use cases, and in those use cases there are leaders, there are projects which are doing very good. Say suppose you have 10,000 cryptocurrencies right now. So if you go, you said 8,000, 9,000, and they keep changing, the number keeps changing every day, but there are close to 9 to 10,000. For a newcomer, it is very difficult to evaluate 10,000 cryptocurrencies. No, it is not possible. So my suggestion to anybody who's entering into the crypto space and they want to have an option other than Bitcoin, what they need to do, they need to pick the industries within crypto. So I give you an example. Projects are there in smart contracts. There are payment solutions, file storage, video. There are projects in supply chain. There are projects in multi-chain. There are projects in lending, DeFi, decentralized exchange. So these are various industries. And in all these industries, there is one or two projects which are doing very good and which might survive another 5 to 10 years, or which might, you see that after even 10 years, they exist. Yeah. Not many projects will exist. I tell you, 90% of them will vanish, but there are very good projects in every sector which will do well. So suppose Ethereum in smart contracts, and then in payments, you have Luna, in file storage, you have Filecoin, Arweave. So these are the examples. Like in DeFi, you have Uniswap, which is doing very well. So you need to do a lot of research. What is happening, Manisha, today? I am investing in altcoin, and most of the people are investing in altcoin because my friend called me. Oh, my friend told me that, or I picked it from a social media or a Telegram group. So
Kashif,
that is the main issue.
That exactly is the point.
Well.
You talked about the top chips, you talked about the A-listers, and then there are those penny stocks as well. There are those meme coins as well. There are those influencers who are pushing it. I get your point that you should be choosing a coin on merit, but sometimes people get lured into a coin just because it's doing very well, just because people are talking about it. Should you stay away from that? Should you actually be doing your research? Should you be sticking with merit?
So because this industry is, the basic ethos of this industry is decentralization, freedom. You don't need censorship. We hate, somebody coming up and tell me, hey, you can't do this, it's wrong. So that's the basic ethos which the community believes in. And because of this ethos, many projects, they try and take advantage of it, right? There are many projects which come and try and, let's say, suppose, in DeFi sector, on decentralized exchange, you don't need any central authority. So suppose I want to make a project, I can make it in 3 days and list it on decentralized exchange. And the general masses, they are not aware that they have not done enough research. They think that this project is a new project which is coming up on exchange. Let's buy it, and after I will sell it within a couple of hours if there will be a spike in the price movement. So there are many projects which have done rug pull. They've scammed people. And in small caps also, there are a lot of projects which will not exist in future, who do not have a team, who do not have an experience. They are just a copy paste of a good project. So in crypto space, many projects are just trying to copy the leader. Sure. And then they try to project themselves through marketing, advertising, influencer marketing, that they are going to be the leader. They set a narrative. They set a false narrative for the masses. So yes, that's an issue. But I think with every passing year, every passing day, you will see that this industry will mature, and you will definitely see that with the growing, people will be more aware about it. Okay. And I think right education will also play a major role in it.
Absolutely. Kashif, also, so what are the recent developments that an investor should keep an eye on when they're investing in cryptocurrencies? What are the recent developments, and what should normally, as a general rule, should they watch out in this space for?
So Manisha, recent developments are like amazing developments which are happening. So for the first time, so what is happening is, you must have heard of the news coming from El Salvador. In El Salvador, they have passed a bill through legislation that Bitcoin is the legal tender in El Salvador. So this has happened for the first time in a country where a bill was passed through legislative way of making Bitcoin as a legal tender. So there are close to 15 countries, 16 countries in Latin America. Most of them are based in Latin America, where the countries do not have their own legal tender. They are dependent upon US dollar. The US dollar is the legal tender of those countries. So in after El Salvador, there is Paraguay, who is planning to do the same, making Bitcoin the legal tender in their country. They are coming up with a legislative proposal. Then there are Mexico and many other countries are trying to do that. So this is one major development which is happening. It has given a lot of credibility to Bitcoin as well. And why they are doing it, let's understand. They are doing it because the way dollar has been printed in recent times. I mean, you'll be surprised to know, Manisha, that in the past, whatever dollar exists today, 40% of the dollar has been printed in the last 11 to 12 months. So these countries who have dollar as a legal tender in their country are saying that if dollar is getting devalued and debased at such a faster speed, they need to secure their future. So, and other than that, you see PayPal, we have seen it in the past that PayPal, you have seen the Jack Dorsey's Cash App, and many institutions are in US itself, 40 plus public listed companies have put in Bitcoins as a treasury asset, which is again gives a lot of credibility to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is an amazing store of value, not just for an individual, but for the institutions. And in coming years, you will see a lot of countries will make it as a legal tender in times to come.
Well, sure are, and there's just so much happening globally, as you just listed it out, Kashif. So, well, that's the key advice is coming in from Kashif Raza, that you should start small, check your research, stick with the merit coins out there, and yes, be an investor, because for a longer term, cryptocurrencies always have yielded positive results there. Kashif Raza, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. With that, that's all the time that we have. Thank you for watching.
WazirX and CNBC TV 18 present Crypto, Digital Assets of the Future. Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.